When Elena wiped the steam off the mirror there was Noel's eyes staring back, bloodshot and smiling. Elena Bryce wasn't fragile. Not the type. She'd gutted deadlines, scaled scaffolding in heels, rebuilt her life from ashes with an architect's calm. So when she moved to Portland and found a microloft glass balcony, smart locks, concrete spines, thought, fortress. She rented the spare room to Noel Carter. Quiet guy. Said thanks too softly. Finger drummed on any surface he could find. Scribbled constantly in this beat-up leather journal, like he was decoding the universe or himself. He left 3 weeks ago. Or, that's what Elena believed. First came the shampoo. Her eucalyptus mintartisan stuff started disappearing in exact amounts. 2 full pumps. Every single morning. Then, the air. Musky with that cologne Noel wore. Woody, clinging to the tile like sweat that refused to dry. She caught herself whispering, "You're losing it," while brushing her teeth. Nights got worse, humming from the vents. Not music, just low, rhythmic tones. Male, breathy, a sound that sank beneath her ribs. The hallway lights flickered. The smart hub kept glitching. One night, at 3 a.m., her phone pinged, motion detected. Living room lighten, then off. She checked the footage. Nothing. Just static. And a faint reflection in the window that looked a little too much like a smile. She hadn't slept in 5 nights. Even coffee couldn't cut through the fog wrapping her skull. Every door creak felt like a warning. The towels were damp, her toothbrush wet at the base. Noel was gone. She knew he was gone, right? Last night, Elena showered with the door open, just to feel like the room could breathe. Steam coated the mirror like icing. She reached up, wiped it clean and froze, scrawled across the glass in watery strokes that dripped like tears. "I forgive you." She didn't move. Not when the bathroom door clicked shut behind her. Not when the hot water thinned and cold crept down her spine. That night, she ripped open the bedroom closet and climbed onto a wobbly IKEA stool. Pushed at the ceiling panel until it popped. A draft hit her stale, warm, like sour breath in a sealed box. Inside the crawl space, a nest. Pizza crusts, canned beans. Her missing hoodie. A half-used candle, and Noel's journal, open to a sketch of her sleeping, dated last week. The music box. Something from her childhood lay cracked near the wall. The gears had rusted. It shouldn't have worked, but as she reached for the edges, lids snapped open, and the warped lullaby began to play. From the dark, a whisper. Elena. Police found Noel hours later, curled in the far corner like a question mark. He grinned when they dragged him out, like it was all some big joke only they were in on. "You kept talking to me," he said. "You always talk to me." Elena never spoke. Not once. But maybe the vents don't need voices. Maybe some people live in the walls because they think they belong there. Share this if you dare, and ask yourself, what if he never left because he thought you invited him in? Beth heard her crying before she even had the keys. No one had warned her about that, the sobbing, muffled, guttural, like grief caught in the pipes. It was coming from apartment 3B, but the landlord swore it was empty. He lied. Beth had just started night shifts at Johns Hopkins Trauma Nurse, 12 hours on, 12 off. Moved into this old brick building in Mount Vernon. Dusty crown moldings, flickering sconces. The kind of place that smells like someone else's memories. Her neighbor, Mrs. Trentati something, sharp as glass, met her before Beth had even unpacked. "Don't play music after 10, she said. "She's grieving upstairs." Beth asked, "She?" She looked at the ceiling, eyes gone distant. "You'll hear her. Just Don't respond. That first week, Beth didn't sleep. Every night at 2:41 a.m., sharp sobbing. From directly above, a woman's voice, low, rasping, like she'd been crying for years and ran out of tears. Beth checked the tenant directory. 3B was blank. No name, no mail in the box. Just a dusty slot, yellowed like old teeth. But one night, as Beth was dragging herself up the stairwell after a double shift, Beth saw her, third-floor landing, pale face in the window of 3B's door. Thin, translucent skin, eyes so black they looked wet. She was mouthing something. Beth couldn't hear it, just saw her lips move. Don't go. Beth ran. She wished she could say she didn't, but she did. Next morning, Beth cornered the landlord, said someone was in 3B, she saw her. He froze, went pale. Then, after a beat, said, 3B's been sealed since the incident. 5 years ago. Murder, suicide. Woman drowned her child in the tub, left the water running, sat in it until it got cold. Beth asked why she wasn't evicted from my nightmares. He didn't answer. That night, Beth came home to silence. No crying, no face at the window. Just quiet. Too quiet. Until Beth opened the fridge. Every light in the apartment died. Beth swore that she felt the air shift, like something exhaled behind her. Then the crying started. Not upstairs, inside. Inside her unit. Right behind the hallway mirror. She pressed her ear to the wall. There it was. A low, watery sob followed by a second, smaller one. Higher pitch, like a child's echo. The drywall was cold, wet. There were fingertip imprints in the condensation. And scrawled in the fog, right there on the mirror, were the same 2 words she mouthed on the landing. Don't go. Beth has not slept since. The landlord won't return her calls. Mrs. Trent moved out 3 days ago. Left a note on my door. She's not grieving anymore. She's searching. Last night, 2:41 a.m., the lights cut out again. But this time, the crying didn't come from above. It came from under her bed. And it wasn't just her. They both wept. Would you stay if you knew she was listening? Tag someone who sleeps alone. Share this if you dare. You ever wake up to your own voice playing, except it's saying things you never said? It started like most bad ideas, with ego and a cheap room in the woods. I'd been chasing this story for weeks. Jeffrey Holloway read to his old cult buddies fresh out after a 20-year stretch. Acquitted on a loophole so small, it made your skin crawl just reading the case file. His Craigslist listing? Room for rent. No pets, no parties, no journalists. Guess which one I lied about? When I pulled up, it looked like something out of a 70s doomsday manual. Off-grid, crooked porch, bones woven into the wind chimes real ones. I'd bet money. And the air? Thick, like burnt sage and moldy Bibles. He opened the door barefoot, said I had truth-hungry eyes. I laughed, but something in his stare made my scalp tighten. You ever feel watched by someone who isn't looking at you? Inside, it was colder than it should have been. Solar lights blinked like dying fireflies. The walls were lined with faded photos' faces scratched out with a blade, clean through the glass. I didn't ask. I kept my mic in a makeup bag. Let the recorder run at night. Most evenings, I got static and the creak of old wood. Until night 19, I woke, choking on a smell so sharp it peeled behind my eyes. Metallic, like wet rust and old pennies, like something had bled out nearby. Then this whisper, not from the hall, inside the room. Don't go in the cellar, she still hears. But I was alone, I knew that. Red was downstairs snoring in front of the fireplace. And yet, the whisper came again. I played back the audio the next morning. There were two voices, mine and hers. I asked him, careful, like I was talking to a dream that might vanish if I blinked. Hey, you ever hear anything weird around here? Red just grinned. You recorded her, didn't you? I didn't answer. My breath got caught somewhere in my ribs. She doesn't like being remembered. That night, I packed, tiptoed to the front door. But the second I touched the handle, click. Every light in the house shut off. My recorder turned on by itself, and it played me, but twisted, layered. My voice overlapped with something whispery, glitching like a broken doll. You found me. The same lullaby from his wind chimes started playing slow, drawn out, off-key. The one I'd heard before, on a grainy newsreel. The Holloway farm fire, 1997. 17 cult members dead, one girl missing, unaccounted for. Something slid across the floor, cold, wet, brushed my ankle like a child's hand. I didn't scream, couldn't. It felt like my throat had been unplugged. I left everything. Never aired the episode, but Red still texts me. Just one thing. Timestamps, always 3:16 a.m. What would you do if your voice started talking without you? Share this if you dare rent a room from him.
Like, subscribe and comment.